Estamos de volta com mais um vídeo de Disco Elysium aqui pro canal. E hoje vamos conversar com a jardineira.
It's raining again.
A jovem olha pra cima encarando o céu coberto de nuvens. É, realmente, né? Tá chovendo.
It was clear just an hour ago.
Concordo. Você ainda tem seus sais? Acho que eu poderia usar um pouco.
Sure. I'm done with them.
Ela teria uma pequena cápsula do bolso do peito dela. Não, ela tira uma pequena cápsula do bolso do peito dela e entrega a você.
Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache.
Ok, valeu. Inspecione o corpo da vítima, agora posso ir, né? Ampola de amônia. Ampola, não sei. Tanto faz. Tá pensando se eu equipar esse negócio aqui. Tempo de pesquisa. Eu não entendi esse tempo de pesquisa. Será que depois de 4 horas e meia esse daqui fica melhor? Cara, eu vou internalizar só pra ver. Vou diminuir um de lógica, o que não faz muito sentido, mas vamos ver. Ela tá 0%. Ah, entendi. Esse carro aqui, vamos ver, foi ele que bateu?
The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57. Vapor emanates from the large engine on the back of the vehicle. It hasn't had time to cool off yet. This must be the infernal machine, that toy from Oblivion. The Caprice Kinema motor carriage. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Beleza.
A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you.
Pegue o rádio, retire a caixa de ferramentas, passe os dedos sobre uma das alavancas, toque no medidor do pré-aquecedor de combustível. Pegue o rádio.
The frequency tableau lights up, and the green button labeled Prime Line glows like a feline eye. And then you hear something. The soft purr of electrical kittens, radio waves cast far and wide over the metropolis. A woman's voice greets you through the static.
This is Precinct 57. Hello, Lieutenant. How may I assist you?
Esse carro é meu?
Hello, Alice.
Ah, não, é
Please
dele.
assist our colleague from the 41st precinct here. I'm putting him on.
Ah, tá, ele tá ligando pra... Ah, tá.
Operating the radio is easy. Just be confident. You've probably done it 1,000 times.
Oi, Alice, aqui é o policial do 41º distrito falando, prazer em conhecê-la.
This is Officer Alice Demetri, Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Under the green prime line, a yellow saved button catches your eye. I wonder what Kim's default radio station is.
Cara, mas esse carro é do Kim, né? Ah. Botão amarelo salva sua atenção. Vocês perguntam... Você poderia me conectar com o 41º distrito? Tenho algo que preciso relatar.
Just a second, officer.
Ela o coloca na espera estática, crepitando suavemente como uma fogueira. Após um tempo você ouve um senhor cumprimentá-lo no rádio, sua voz ruidosa estranhamente familiar.
10-2, 10-5, this is 41st, come in, over.
Julius Pidial.
The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cops know relay code.
10-4, estação 41, tem um assunto urgente, câmbio.
10-4, message received, 10-5, relay message, what's your status, over.
Apenas relatando, câmbio. Tô entendendo nada.
10-18, state your message, sir.
Preciso comunicar o desaparecimento do meu distintivo.
10-9, over.
Meu distintivo não consigo achar em lugar nenhum, basicamente. Sumiu.
10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 10-22 the captain, over.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
Não diga nada.
Who lost his badge?
Puta merda, fez merda de contar, né?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
Dick Millen. Isso aqui foi tipo uma piada ou é o meu nome?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Ele disse tentando segurar o riso.
Dick Mullen is not your name.
Okay.
It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Haha, policial perdeu o distintivo. Haha, como se fosse o primeiro tira perdeu o distintivo.
He says this has probably happened to other policemen before him and laughs sarcastically.
Oh god damn it. Is he fucking kidding? The whole station's gonna be dicked for this.
Satellite Officer Vikmar is wondering if you might be joking and adds that this tarnishes the reputation of the entire station. Over. Mullen dicked us.
Não podemos simplesmente seguir em frente, só quero que isso seja relatado e pronto.
10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced badge. Over. Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got to hear this. Dick Mullen lost his badge. What's going on?
Mac Thorson.
Super Cop here lost his badge.
Super tira? Eu fico me referindo a mim assim, é?
He lost his what now?
His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Chega disso agora, eu tenho outras coisas pra discutir.
10-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
A conversa animada no fundo está dificultando que ele te ouça.
New heights even for Captain Soba. Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun too.
Eu perdi.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun too. Over.
Check your pockets. Check your... Holy fuck. You don't know where it is, do you?
Oh céus, não está aqui.
Okay, it's gone. Your gun is most definitely gone.
10-9, coming officer. Did you get my question? We were wondering about your gun. Over.
Eu vou convencê-los que eu não perdi.
Lying over the phone? It's easy. Just say it like it's the truth. And then it becomes it.
Não, é claro que eu não perdi minha arma.
He says he didn't.
Thank God for that. That would have been a nightmare. I don't even want to imagine the poor prick who has to relay that kind of news to the captain. Losing his badge is bad enough. Tell him to find it and fast. We can't have some gangbanger running around with it.
É justo, bem justo.
We're all glad to hear you've not lost your gun, officer. You need further assistance. Over.
Isso pode soar estranho, mas há detalhes pessoais que eu gostaria de discutir.
Okay, 10-4, sir. I hear you. Relay your question. Over.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through.
O que há para se pensar?
You're going to be looking at a straitjacket if you tell everyone you lost your memory. Be smart about this. Ask if he's there alone.
Justo.
10-4, sir. I'm not hearing your question.
Espero que você precise de algumas informações. Vou mandar essa primeiro. Espere, você está sozinho na sala? Eu preciso de algumas informações confidenciais sobre mim.
That's a negative, sir. I got 10-12 visitors present here. Over.
Tá, tudo bem. Eu queria saber se você tem a descrição do meu distintivo no seu relatório. Você poderia ler pra mim nome, patente, idade de nascimento?
What? What is it? He's still on the line?
He wants to verify the information on his badge.
But of course, it says Dick Mullen, High General of the Revacholian Cavalry Force.
Tell him to stop wasting time.
What do you need, sir? Over.
Alguma vez eu te contei sobre minha vida antes da RCM?
10-4, well, that's,
Does he actually want something, or is he hell-bent on disrupting our work?
He asked if he ever told me about his days before joining the RCN.
For God's sake, cut this shit out! Tell him to stop wasting time and be a goddamn policeman for a change.
Sir, Satellite Officer Vicmar says...
Eu ouvi.
So, was there anything else?
Por favor, se refira a mim pelo meu nome completo no futuro.
10-9, repeat message. I didn't get that, sir. Over.
Pare de me chamar de senhor e apenas use meu maldito nome de verdade, pode ser?
What? What is it? What can...
He seems intoxicated and keeps asking me to call him by his name.
Mullen's drunk and emotionally aggressive. That's new.
Wrap it up. Don't indulge in his drunken antics.
Ok, tudo bem, vou encerrar isso, né? Chega.
Understood, sir. Over.
Transmissão concluída. Câmbio.
Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
Retire a caixa de ferramentas removível.
A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
Pega os cortadores de corrente com cabo de borracha. Caraca.
The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand. You can do good work with these. Cut chains, locks, and ropes, especially belts.
Especially belts? Por quê? Pegar lanterna de manivela.
It's robust, weatherproof, and well-made. Police issue, blue. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss.
Pega o pé de cabra com ponta vermelha.
The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand, heavier than you'd think. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids.
Empurrar de volta.
Pull out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook.
Toque no medidor do pré-aquecedor de combustível.
As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
There's no use pressing the heat button. It won't start without the ignition key.
Ah, não é o que eu tava querendo fazer não, mas beleza.
Translation. We're not going anywhere right now.
Passa os dedos sobre uma das alavancas de direção. Pra quê? Não, fecha a porta. Acho que esse jogo não é aquele tipo de jogo que eu tenho que fazer tudo que tem opção, não. Rastreio seu distintivo, rastreio sua arma. Certo. Quantidade de item que eu peguei aqui. Ferramentas. Alicate, lanterna e pé de cabra. Boas ferramentas. Alguma grande força tectônica rachou o pavimento com uma casca de ovo.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
Ah, pensei que fosse investigar algo aqui. Ah, vamos direto logo pro cadáver, né? A criança ainda tá aqui, velho. Começou a nevar, tava chovendo. Ou isso aqui é chuva? Não sei, nem sei.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Pô, mais um porque eu tenho amônia. Caraca, ainda tá baixo pra caramba. Bônus de item. Ok, vamos lá. Vou tentar de novo?
The ammonia only makes it worse. The combination forces tears out of your ducts. You manage to keep it in once. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Pena que saiu do nada o texto, né? Pra mostrar a cena. Segunda vez nem tanto. Quando terminar de vomitar sobre os cheios da molhada de lágrimas. A Moni não ajudou em nada.
Nor does the wind right now.
Você sente o tenente dar tapinha nas costas ritmicamente.
I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder.
Por que eu não consigo me segurar se fui um tiro toda a minha vida? Por que eu não consigo... isso mesmo.
I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Throw up, investigate. Throw up, initial autopsy. Throw up, baguette.
Ele te dá mais um tapinha. Pô, pelo menos o cara é legal, né, velho?
Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there, if you didn't bag the thing tight enough.
Você parece bem.
I think I've lost my sense of smell.
Beleza.
A white lie.
É justo.
Not being hungover helps too.
Justo também. Que porcaria isso. Eu não quero mais fazer isso. Eu não quero ser um tira. Faça isso sem mim. Eu não consigo aguentar.
No. This is a two-man assignment because it needs 2 officers to complete. I need your help.
Ele tira a mão de suas costas e te olha nos olhos.
You need to get your shit together.
Ok.
We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
Ó, já tá faltando 3 horas e 52 só. Isso daqui, bônus temporário de pesquisa nenhum. Problema, sua merda é uma... Calma aí. Compressor volumétrico de merda. Sua merda está espalhada e isso é bastante impróprio para um tiro de um ser humano. Ela deveria estar no estado oposto, organizada, comprimida em uma pequena área. Para alcançar um bom nível de compressão merdal, aperte as polpas de sua bunda por 30 minutos. Faça algo similar com os 2 hemisféricos do seu cérebro. Fale com as pessoas, talvez isso ajude. Internalizar. Continuar.
Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Ok. Tem que dar meia hora. Equipe complete reflexão compressor volumétrico de merda. Agora que eu entendi isso, né? Certo, o que mais que eu posso fazer aqui? Posso conversar com o gerente aqui, né? Que eu queria a chave lá do lixo.
The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Guard, right?
O tenente olha para o
You
pequeno
run
caderno
this
de
place.
anotações.
Yes.
Ele responde secamente.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41.
Ele olha pra você percebendo que ainda não sabe seu nome. O que é ouro e laranja como um incêndio florestal, uma cheira de licor? No momento eu estou entre nomes, eu acho.
Fantastic.
É como quando você sai da sua banda, mas ainda não decidiu o nome de um artista solo. Quem está prestes a dizer alguma coisa, deixa.
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also took you a while to call us and report the dead body. It was you who placed the call, yes?
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here. I'm only temporarily taking over her duties.
Ah, eu sabia que tinha negócio ali escrito com letra de mulher, né?
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Ele olha para trás de uma pilha de descansos de copo, encontra um pedaço de papel e entrega ao tenente.
This sounds like something you can use to call this Sylvie later.
Quem fez a ligação denunciando o crime? Ligue para a Silva usando o rádio em frequência curta do Kim. Ok.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What, of Martinez? No. I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many, many cafeterias I manage.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need directions.
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
I didn't imply that. Detective.
He probably means this is where you step in and ask your questions.
Certo, perguntas, entendido.
His face expresses profound doubt in your having this. Ask him about the body's location before asking if he killed him. People give up information in the more innocuous questions, which you can later use in the more sinister ones, not vice versa.
Porque Sylvie foi embora.
She went away because none of your business.
Nossa.
Have they not been telling you you're a cop?
Eu não sou tiro, tudo é da minha conta.
Okay, you got me. She went away because of the dead body out back. And because I asked for her number. That's why Sylvie went away. I hope you appreciate that.
Gostei, gostei.
Thank you.
O tenente abre o pequeno caderno de anotações dele na capa. O número é armazenado em segurança num pequeno bolso. Não correu bem?
I asked an employee out. She didn't want to come, but felt obliged to. It was a bad idea. Now, what is so goddamn fascinating about that for you? It's got nothing to do with the lynching.
Essa coisa me dá nos nervos, eu sou feminista. Beleza. Acho que gosta de ser meticuloso. Eu não sei, tudo tem a ver com tudo. Tudo tem algo a ver com tudo.
Good for you. Was there something else? I'd like to get back to what I was doing.
Quem o matou?
I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job.
Eu tenho outra pergunta.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Ah, isso é tudo, né, velho? Não vou perguntar se ele o matou, porra.
Let's go.
Mais 30 de experiência. Novo ponto de habilidade.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real.
Real. Passar despercebido? O que é real?
Oh, excuse me. You owe me 130 real.
Ele pronuncia o R imitando um sotaque aristocrático.
The IIR, or Inter-Isolary Real, is the global reserve currency. Whatever part of the world you're in right now, it's safe to assume he means you owe him some money.
Não é possível que coincidentemente o negócio se chama real. Não é possível. Mas tudo bem, por real você quer dizer alguma forma de crédito de rua? Ah, entendi. Isso quer dizer que te devo dinheiro.
Wow, you're a genius. Yes, that's right. Money. You owe this establishment 130 real.
Ele aponta para a fichada vermelha no balcão. Você está preso. Deixa eu ver isso daqui rapidinho. 2 pontos de... Ah, posso subir a lógica de nível. A enciclopédia ela já subiu, né? Porque é o que eu tenho. Padrão de negócio. Esses negócios aqui não dá pra subir, né? Físico, motor, psique e intelecto. Pô, esses daqui já são bons demais pra subir. Não vou subir nada agora não, só quando eu precisar. Mais um foi feito, né? Por que eu devo este lugar?
Let's see. 3 nights at a tariff of 20 real comes to 60 real. Then there's the window you annihilated. The hole in the window was the first thing I saw when I came to work. So don't try to tell me you didn't. That will be 40 real in damages.
Tá, é justo, né? Realmente, parando pra pensar.
Another thing you've annihilated is half the bar. You've run a tab of 30 real. Actually, more, but we'll round it down to 30 for your hard work maintaining the stability and order of Revachol. That's 60 plus 40 plus 30 equals 130 real. And yes, real is still money.
Mas o que exatamente é dinheiro? Pô, não tem como só aceitar, não?
What are you, a philosopher?
Não, estou apenas me orientando.
Money is what grown-up people use to pay for things. Things like this hostel room or 8 bottles of potent blend and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really.
Prossiga e mostra as moedas que você encontrou. Isso é dinheiro?
Yes, it is.
Conte e entregue a ele. Isso é 10 mais 10 mais 20 dá 40. Agora falta 90, né?
No, you see, that's 40 cents. Cents are a form of currency 100 times smaller than the real. I'm not even going to take this. Come back when you have 130 real.
Certo.
The cafeteria manager stands silently, looking at the coppers on the counter before him. Isn't it evil? The order of magnitude between what is asked of a person and what they have?
Guarde para si mesmo e pega as moedas.
There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber.
O que acontece agora?
I'm sorry, but he has to pay. I can't let him stay here any longer if he doesn't. If he doesn't have the money by tonight, then...
Officer, maybe you're better off working this from home for now. You live in Jamrock, right? It's not that far away.
Não me lembro onde fica minha casa, mas beleza.
Officer, you really need to take this up with your station. I have a shortwave radio in my car. Call them, ask for assistance. We have to get this investigation started now.
Good luck.
O homem quer dizer alguma coisa, então pensa melhor. Boa sorte. Caraca, quanta coisa, hein?
By the way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it.
Eu realmente não me lembro.
But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere.
Eu não sei. Perto? Sul, talvez?
You don't really know, do you?
Tenho apenas uma imagem vaga e enegrecida.
A vague, blackened image doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money.
Poderia rastrear o caminho de volta de alguma forma para a rua exata, o número exato de um prédio?
You can try. Run some addresses in your head when you get the time. Maybe a street or an apartment will appear.
Solitário, longo caminho para casa. Vou botar isso daí, óbvio. Mas o que a gente veio perguntar pro cara, né? Aí, ó. O container de lixo nos fundos é seu?
Mine? No, it belongs to the Whirling in Rags.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you keep the container locked?
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why. And the neighbors too. They put their trash there and they don't pay for the garbage company.
I thought as much. And are you the only party with access to the trash container?
Well, yes. Us and the garbage disposal company.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you.
Pouco cruel. Que sensação é essa?
Prod at him and find out.
Caraca. Não parece cruel pra você negar ter essas sobras para os pobres?
Callous? What are you, Kras Mazov? Almost all establishments in Revachol keep their trash locked. The Whirling in Rags is not special in that regard.
Mas ainda assim é absurdo, né, cara?
Krasmazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a historical materialist. He was a leading figure on the Grad side of the Centennial Revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific communism, Mazovian thought, or Mazovianism.
Cara, é claramente Karl Marx, né? Mas beleza. É, faz sentido, né? Eu não sou nenhum Krasmazov.
No one was implying you were, officer. Where were we?
Precisamos dessas chaves.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please.
Eu vi algo aqui no Whirling Gart. Uma coisa que eu preciso falar.
What thing?
Eu vi uma placa dizendo que o refeitório é reservado para o sindicato.
Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
Indireta pra mim, fofa.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info.
Como nós nos encontramos? Só vim aqui de noite, né?
We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even striking men. If not today, then they'll be here tomorrow.
There are these things called days. You sleep between them. He's saying they'll come after you've slept. Just making clear you got that.
Beleza, beleza. Aí já tá sacaneando comigo, né? Por que eu não posso entrar na cozinha?
What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business.
Mas pode haver algo pertinente em investigação na cozinha.
He wasn't pan-fried. He was lynched. What could the kitchen possibly have to do with...
Ele muda de ideia.
Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the cook is working. You can snoop around after that, if you must.
Opa, bom. Tem algo mais que eu quero lhe perguntar.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later.
Adeus. Descubra, tá, o pessoal do sindicato, né? Tem algo aqui que eu deixei passar, não, né? O cara tá dormindo aqui ainda? Tá. Eu já roubei o bagulho dele, podia roubar mais coisas, mas não vou não. Será que eu posso falar com ela? Será que ela tem algo novo?
Hello again, sweetie.
Nossa, docinho precisa de dinheiro, docinhos ganham dinheiro, não. Pelo amor de Deus, não vou pedir dinheiro pra senhora, né, velho? Aí também já é demais. Aí... Ele me deu a chave, não deu?
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags.
Nossa, ainda bem que eu não tentei com pé de cabra, porque... Ah, a ferramenta nem equipada tá. Mas abri com cadeado com chave.
With a well-oiled crack, the lock pops open. It should now be possible to simply raise the lid. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Como assim? O que é isso?
Just the feeling. A warning from some part of you.
Eu vou abrir, cara.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Olha embaixo das caixas de papelão. Alguma coisa já foi, né? Esse daqui já completou, já?
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar.
Calma, embalagem de ovos com ovo quebrado, embalagem de macarrão.
You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. You're used to this.
Ah, acostumado a quê? Mergulhar em lixeira?
No, searching for evidence in the trash.
Justo.
A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And turbo noodles. Nothing of note, however.
Mexa nos trapos.
Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers.
Pegue-os.
As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaver inodor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer.
Ok.
Guitar marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but
Mas o cinto não tá mais,
the
né?
belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I have another bag here.
Something slimy catches your eye.
Estica o
A
braço.
drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
Ensaca a camisa.
This is a military type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug that catches your eye. But other than that,
Uma toalha jogada fora, uma caneca, isso é tudo.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Beleza. Você acha alguém do Erling possa estar envolvido?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Certo.
the lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash container.
Investiga os restos de comida.
It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, what's this?
O quê?
A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something.
Por favor, vai ser meu distintivo.
They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Tá, é um fichário.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
Não, não pode ser.
Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form.
Uma resma de papéis de aspecto miserável se prende à prancheta.
If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash?
Há um augúrio nefasto nisso. Talvez eu precisasse perdê-lo para que o grande derramamento de sangue comece. Alguém do Ernie jogou no lixo? Eu não sei, eu sou chata.
Boring. Try dangerous. You should do a thorough inventory of that. Be sure some has not fallen into the hands of the RCM's enemies, organized crime or worse. Official notes sometimes contain informants' names, even undercover operatives.
Certo, eu vou fazer isso. Inventariar.
It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Now, tell me what your eagle eyes see. Or are we finished?
Vou pegar a caneca também.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron,
Uma antiguidade?
only in its social sensibility.
Peguei. Um homem olha brevemente para a caneca, então volta os olhos para o lixo. Fecha a tampa.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Volumetric ship compressor.
Ó! Da hora.
Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of collapsing stars, not law officials. It remains to be seen how long the shit singularity lasts.
Toda a checagem branca de resistência destravada. Capacidade de aprender de resistência aumentada para 4. Eu posso esquecer. Será que eu tenho um limite pra isso? Tipo, só pode 12? Não sei. Ah, olha só, agora eu posso colocar até 4 nisso. Entendi. Enciclopédia tá 7. Deixa eu ver os itens. Eu posso equipar uma ferramenta, né? Não vou ficar andando com um pé de cabra por aí. Fichar unificado e interagir.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Limpador de mictório. Mais alguma coisa?
There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard.
Meu Deus.
It's a metaphor for you. Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out for us.
Inspecionar o papel higiênico.
It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want.
Talvez seja papel toalha, eles são exatamente iguais.
If you want it to be kitchen tissue, it can be kitchen tissue. It's not though. It's toilet paper.
Droga. Retire.
Still wet, the toilet paper, I mean kitchen tissue, sorry, peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off your finger and voila, the ledger now looks marginally better.
Marginalmente melhor. Inspecione o clipe.
An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip.
Corra os dedos pelo alumínio.
The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before. Looks like an official mark, made to be low visibility outside the right circumstances.
Ei, tenente, o que é isso?
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property.
Interessante. Que tipo de informação?
It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
Entendi.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
O que devo fazer para conseguir ler?
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do.
Como por exemplo?
All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
Ok, interessante.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Isso é tudo, obrigado.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, it's a sorry sight.
Folheie as páginas brancas.
They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
O que tem aí dentro? Do que elas falam?
Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate, due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases, undertaken, not completed, mind you.
Ok.
It's the middle of March. You have attempted 2 cases a week on average.
Parece bastante coisa pra mim.
What do you mean? Is that all?
2 casos por semana é uma boa carga de trabalho, tenente. Isso aqui eu tô perguntando pra ele. 2 casos por semana é uma boa carga de trabalho, tenente?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you start making mistakes.
2 casos por semana parece ter sido minha carga, tenente. No entanto, não tenho certeza se os resolvi.
2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. That was presumptuous of me.
Não. Eu me esculhambei de verdade.
That's okay. We all do, sooner or later.
É justo.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is extremely dense, if mostly illegible.
Conte as páginas, eu tenho que abrir um caso oficial. Existe espaço?
There is, for precisely 1 more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete.
Ok, registro por escrito usando a caneta que a Lena lhe deu.
The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple, a language developed for mental rigor and simplicity.
Justo.
Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be out of place.
Risca aquelas que você já terminou.
A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. You're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry, and it feels good. Feels like completion.
Consegui mais uma carga de moral.
Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
Tenente, por acaso você batizou o nosso caso?
No, actually. Any ideas?
O enforcado.
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now.
Não consigo identificar se ele tá sendo sarcástico, mas beleza.
I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
É isso?
The notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard. Everything prior to this must have belonged to a previous volume. In short, there was more.
É justo. Havia menções a uma convenção de nomenclaturas aqui?
Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. A title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction and vespertine cop show staples.
Caraca, e são escritos em letras maiúsculas também.
Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case.
Bons nomes.
Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout.
É, foda, né?
It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting them up close.
Que em todos os meus casos emprega uma convenção de nomenclatura similar que usamos no nosso.
Yes, how very childish of you. In your and my defense, almost everyone in the RCM uses the titular system, in addition to the official alphanumeric.
Ah, é legal, né, velho? Por que
It's
isso?
a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
É, eu penso ter nomeado um caso com os homicídios da praça com marcas de bala.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself.
É foda, mas é justo também.
I pray his loved ones never find out.
O que aconteceu com ele?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Nossa. Eu terminei de inspecionar isso. Fecha os arquivos de casa.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
É, lógica média 11. Posso ler os arquivos de casa agora?
Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB41, then date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700. The
Espera,
next world mural.
espera, HDB41 não é policial distrito?
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
E HDB deve ser as minhas iniciais, né?
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
É, Horus Deb Berenguer?
That is improbable.
Quanto tempo leva pra ler um caso?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
Mural do Próximo Mundo.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high.
Sério?
The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class."
Caraca.
People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Espera, eu cheguei a descobrir quem inventou?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design.
Leia.
The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3.
Olha só.
The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options.
mural é esse daqui, né? Mantenha o mural, ele é direito.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority. And that love truly is possible in the next world for new people. And it is too late for us.
Tudo que resta é causar estragos na classe média. Eu gosto... A classe média não tem culpa, eu gosto disso, mas não podemos causar estragos em outras nações em vez disso? Devo ter votado, possivelmente até feito lobby para remover a coisa, porque não acredito nem um pouco nessas bobagens. Eu duvido, você tem a cara de que acredita sim. Tem a maior cara de comunista. Não esteja errado também. Tudo que resta é causar estragos na classe média. Cara, mas por que na classe média? Ok.
In any case, it appears to have been a rare case of civil activity in the quarter. And agreement as well. What do you want to tackle next?
Eu vou revisitar isso depois, tá gastando tempo, né?
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Depois eu vejo isso. Quem colocou as roupas no lixo, lê as marcas d'água e inspeciona o corpo da vítima. Agora eu posso inspecionar, né? Vamos finalizar esse vídeo inspecionando, porque já tá longo já, né? Largar o fichário. Posso interagir com a caneca também.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Ok, agora eu consigo, 72%.
As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh, tattoos and tendons.
Eles sempre fazem isso?
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Nossa.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enamel boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
Inspecione as botas.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow.
Ok.
These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Ele era militar, né? O casaco dele era militar. Essas não são apenas botas, são partes de armadura que foram retiradas.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Com um caderno de anotações sobre o braço, o tenente se agacha para inspecionar as solas. Elas são sabatões.
Oh, the lieutenant uses a memo technique A6. That's not just any notebook. It's a classic.
Isso. Obrigado, muito útil saber isso.
It's all you, baby.
Que tipo de armadura é essa exatamente?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be.
Onde?
Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
Esse material parece até deslocado aqui.
It is. It's expensive.
O tenente risca uma linha na condensação da cerâmica com um dedo indicador.
We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics.
De quanto nós estamos falando aqui?
For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
Caraca!
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted for rank.
Espera, minha renda anual é de 5.500 real? Parece pouco, né? Você tá devendo 130 ali. Você divide 5.500 por 12, dá menos de 500 por mês, né? Isso é muito, estou certo? Não é muito não. Espera, minha renda atual é de 5.500 real?
Not too much, yes.
Parece uma miséria, não me surpreende que eu não possa nem pagar minha conta no albergue.
It's a sorry situation, I agree.
Onde está o resto? Pilhado por moradores?
Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if they didn't.
Mas por que não a bota?
We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
Ele acende na direção do Kuno, meu Deus. Talvez ele estivesse vestindo apenas as botas, não o resto da armadura?
No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirts we found to get to it. And this kind of armor is often worn under fabrics.
Ah, usar de baixo.
Nice. That makes sense.
Realmente. Ele poderia estar andando nu desse jeito pelo que sabemos. E se eles o fizeram se despir antes de enforcá-lo para ridicularizá-lo?
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre, the Mazda, the besmirties and the like. This one still has his underpants.
Faz sentido também.
Fucking talking about underpants.
Clearly, Kuno would like to interject something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to.
Como esse homem poderia dispor de um equipamento tão caro?
That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company, but that's just hearsay.
Relatório inicial?
Just something I scraped together from my station. An area report on Martinez. I'm sure you did the same.
Eles parecem muito avançados para o número de segurança. Elas parecem, né?
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
Bata na bota.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup.
Parece frágil.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them altogether.
Interessante.
Like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps.
O que isso te faz lembrar?
If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like.
Interessante. Corra seus dedos sobre as linhas.
The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice.
Onde eu noto?
The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50, 100, 1000.
O que eu consegui aqui? Mais um nível? Mais um nível. Eu podia subir um pouco a lógica. Ou talvez o cálculo visual. Drama e retórica ia ser interessante também. Eu acho que eu vou subir retórica. Eu tenho 2 pontos, né? A ponte parece que tem um número de série no sabatão direito.
Good. Can you read it to me?
Ele molha a ponta seca da caneta na língua.
X5415 6745 678222. Let's lie.
Pra quê? Não, vou contar a verdade.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
Puxa a bota.
The stench fills your nostrils. As you push downward, an ominous creaking sound comes from above.
Stop!
A voz do tenente é rápida, ele olha pra você com a bota embaixo do braço.
Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Quê? Ah!
Brutal!
Solte a bota.
What's wrong with you, asshole? Why is he letting Goku know?
I don't know, baby. I don't know why he's such a...
Não sei que xingamento é esse, não.
Officer, if I may ask, what were you trying to achieve by pulling on the deceased foot?
Tá, recua e olha para o
The
corpo.
cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
Inspecione o cinto.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch.
Como que eles amarraram lá em cima? Não, eles devem ter jogado pelo galho, né?
This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under six-rotor airships.
Não me pergunte como sei disso, mas esse cinto de amarração é usado em cargas suspensas.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them.
Aparentemente, esse é o tipo reforçado para transporte suspenso. Meu cérebro me diz isso.
The local harbor uses six rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves.
Eles realmente queriam que ele ficasse lá em cima, corda reforçada com fios de aço.
I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed.
É, cara. Nós estamos assumindo que os estivadores fizeram isso?
I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes. Motivated by the ongoing strike. You?
Ele polidamente ergue uma sobrancelha. Você? Não me pergunte, eu só vou tropeçando de um momento a outro. Faz sentido, suficientemente mundano.
70% of the cases I get are just filling in the blanks on the initial report. This belt worries me.
Ele cobre o nariz. É, cara. Tá, como eles o colocaram lá em
A
cima?
noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
Ele aponta para a fivela amarrada aos... Calma. Ele aponta para a fivela amarrando o cinto ao galho acima. Eles escalaram usando a escada das crianças?
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
É bem possível.
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory.
Sim. Foi o que eu tinha pensado antes, né?
The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos.
Inspecione as tatuagens.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart.
É um mapa do céu noturno? Não, né? É um sistema microeletrônico, é um padrão nacional. Deixa eu ver isso daqui.
Of no nation that I know of. If anything, it reminds me of religious illumination, last or penultimate century. Men who live harsh lives often turn to innocentic worship. But which one? I see no trace of a humanoid figure.
Nós estamos deixando algo passar.
I agree.
Um súbito som preenche o ar quando o tenente puxa o zíper da jaqueta laranja.
He wears a wide leather belt around his waist and a gun holster under his arm.
Ó.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
O que é isso?
A Trigger Sunshine. Mini.
Ok.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication devices, primarily projectors. The camera before you looks familiar somehow.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
Kaku no S, esse menininho ou menina é muito chata, velho.
An instant color camera.
Ele retira 2 ampolas de acabamento metálico e as coloca no lugar ao lado do aparato. Uma fina abertura brilha lá.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
Ele aponta a câmera para o corpo, fazendo mira. As lentes precisam de ajuste, então...
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
Caraca. Oh, bonitão a arte, né? Por mais estranho e bizarro que seja isso.
In case we need it.
Nele, uma cópia colorida perfeita do peito tatuado de um homem morto. No caso precisarmos, o tenente diz e balança o papel secando num vento gélido. Máquina é legal.
Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
Ele fecha a câmera deslizando e coloca no cinto.
There is only one ampoule left. Use it wisely.
Pra que precisamos da foto?
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter to us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Posso ficar com ela? Eu gostaria de olhá-la mais tarde, sem o cheiro do corpo.
Sure. Just don't lose it.
Ele te passa um pedaço de papel fotográfico destacado. Não é maior que um pacote de cigarros.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms.
Olho nos olhos.
His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess.
Império interior, diga-me quem é você, defunto. Se eu bufar o Império interior aqui, eu tenho mais um de chance, né? Mas acho que não vale a pena, não. Um monte de missão pra fazer. Mapa. Empatia lendária. E essas são checagens brancas encontradas. Aquelas brancas estão disponíveis para serem realizadas agora. Vamos tentar, né?
The corpse is dead silent. You have no idea why you just said that.
Who is he? He is male, 4250, with an athletic build.
Trancado. Eu podia ter deixado pra depois, talvez.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench. Eyes like a shark.
Cerra os olhos e dê um passo para trás.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the discoloration?
Caraca, observe.
Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
A face e as mãos deles estão rosas, coxas também.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here.
Relaxe seus olhos.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot.
Nossa.
So, what do you think?
Eu acho que ele foi levantado após a morte. As mãos e os pés dele estão descolorados. Ele foi espancado, viu os hematomas? Vou mandar essa 2.
Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports a hanging.
Será que ele foi movido após a morte?
There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
Cubra o nariz, alguma coisa está saindo dele. Calma, ele foi espancado, viu os hematomas? Manda essa.
I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Tipo o menininho ali, né? Chato pra caralho.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
Regudo.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
Cubra o nariz, alguma coisa está saindo dele.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it, drop by drop.
Nossa, imagina ver essa cena pessoalmente, cara.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he saying?
Conter não mais do que meio quilograma de material digerido.
Talking about shit.
Talvez ele tenha ido ao banheiro antes de morrer. Vire-se e grite? Não. Esse aqui não é o meu tipo de personagem, não. Ele é agressivo assim, não. Nós tivemos sorte e não entendi por quê.
Did we? I don't feel lucky.
Eu acho que ele está morto.
I agree.
His personality is no longer a part of the world.
Totally dead.
O mundo não mais hospeda a personalidade dele em plena composição. Houve um tempo para isso, e isso terminou 7 dias atrás. Definitivamente.
Absolutely.
Recue e tomear.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your nostrils. He slowly rotates before you, decomposing.
O que são essas mãos aqui? Não sei. Então, como descemos daí?
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
Você me pegou, hein, cara. Acho que podemos descer. Recue... Nós somos meticulosos. Tem um plano para descê-lo?
The steel reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
Talvez nós devêssemos atirar para descê-lo? Outras pessoas não poderiam fazer isso? Outra pessoa, talvez tipo o garoto subir na árvore e cortar?
Someone else? You mean like the police?
Eu digo alguém abaixo de detetive.
Someone like a paid garbage man? Or a cleaning crew? I have bad news for you. That is a detective. I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast.
Tá bom, nós poderíamos serrar o galho.
Climb up there and saw the branch?
Parece perigoso.
There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Parece bastante problemático, então melhor não fazermos.
We are not getting him down already. Not getting him down is a task that's already accomplished. Sadly, it's not our job to keep him up there, but to get him down.
How do you plan to get him down, then? With social sensibility? Are you going to educate him down?
Talvez nós devêssemos atirar para descê-lo. Nossa, mas aí também...
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
Na cabeça, né, pô?
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Cara, quer atirar na fivela. Lá, a fivela mantém o cinto preso.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to release the belt.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Kuno with some shit.
They'll miss. The pigs will miss, Kuno.
Na verdade, não. É claramente uma má ideia. Me deixe tentar? Qual que é a minha chance de acertar? Eu acho que seria aqui de motores, né?
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
Não diga nada, deixa eu escolher.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks,
Deixa eu tirar.
securing it in place. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzle-loader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world.
Cara, não pensei que examinar o corpo fosse demorar tanto.
He then steps back and assumes the fellow's test position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
Vá com calma, parceiro.
He's gonna fucking miss.
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
God damn it.
a lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow's test was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight.
Eu pedi, não deixou eu tirar, né?
Fucking idiot. Mookaba asshole.
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
Tá tudo bem, cara.
Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels sorry for the Beano Clad.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at the gun in his hand.
E agora?
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself.
Pode me emprestar essa arma, eu deveria tentar.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks.
Ele pausa, então dá de ombros e continua a carregar a pistolete.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
A peça brilha na mão esticada dele.
They only have one gun.
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Kuno's ever seen.
Pegue a arma.
Take it, you fucking banana boyka. Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth.
Sinta o peso primeiro.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger. You've held this, a P9 Armistice, before. At some point, it probably used to be your choice of firearm. It still feels comfortable, like you never laid it down.
Oh, isso é bom, hein?
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth.
Aponte a arma para o cinto.
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground and your left hand supporting your gun arm.
Não vou errar, né?
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Feche seu olho esquerdo primeiro. É desafiador. É coordenação motora. Eu imaginei, eu podia subir de nível. Deixa eu ver, tá 42, né? Se eu subo a coordenação motora de nível, deixa eu ver. 58. Ainda não dá pra reverter, ok. Já subi, já tenho mais chance de acertar. Feche seu olho esquerdo primeiro, deixa eu ver.
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, catching the noon light as the corpse slowly rotates. The slow movement of the branch in the wind and your shoulders directing the gun sync up, dancing hypnotically.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
Agora eu vou acertar. Graças a Deus.
The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with a whir.
Cara, o bicho caiu ajoelhado.
With your hand numb from the recoil, you look at the body slump down. For a moment, the man appears to kneel in front of you, looking straight at you, helpless, trapped within itself.
Quem te matou?
Communism.
Caraca!
It takes a millisecond for the association to flash within your cortex. You have no idea where it's coming from, only that it's right. Then the rigor in his muscles gives up, and he smashes sideways into the spring mud, letting out a horrid stench.
Quem está rindo agora é seu merdinha, fala pro moleque.
Fuck you, Corpale!
Apesar das palavras dela, o tom é comemorativo. Você foi RCM, bruto, RCM.
Ace is high.
O tenente levanta a mão direita esperando que você bata.
The ace is high, a custom invented by the aerostatic brigades during the revolution, is used to celebrate success in Revachol, especially in sports. The gesture is spread across the world, despite the defeat of the revolutionaries themselves.
Isso aqui é a origem do high five, legal. Eu não vou usar o próximo ponto não, eu vou guardar pra quando eu precisar.
You could add an ace's low to it, if you like, by turning your back after the high and waiting for another.
Eu vou bater, bata. Oh.
The lieutenant takes a little hop to perform the customary salutation. Your palm hurts from the slap. It's precise and down to the point.
Reflexão adquirida, toque alto. Mais um de empatia em direção a King, tempo de pesquisa. Destravar. Ah, olha só. Interessante. Depois eu penso nisso então. Feito, desci o corpo.
I knew these guys were
A voz dele é de aprovação profunda. São viados? É. E agora?
We will perform a field autopsy and determine the cause of death. But before... Excuse me.
Ele precisa de... Calma, ele precisa de afastar do corpo. Se afastar, né?
Slumped on the ground like that has not improved the way the corpse smells. The fall seems to have released something deep inside it.
Ele vai vomitar agora?
It looks like I feel like taking a break from the stench. I'm sorry to interrupt the jubilations here. Just a little breather before we do the autopsy.
Espera, é autópsia de campo?
Yes. The 4 phases of a murder scene. 1. Investigation of the scene. I'm satisfied with that part. The trash container, the prints, we've been thorough enough. 2. Initial examination of the victim. We were exhaustive in our efforts there. Good job. 3. Field autopsy. This will not be pleasant or easy, and it will have to be performed on the scene.
The fuck are they on about?
Cops are gonna cut his shit up next.
4 and final, transport of the coroner's case to the district morgue. I'll do that. God, this stinks.
O tenente para, Deus como ele fede. Nós não temos alguém para autópsia como médico?
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain. From crime scene to autopsy to cleanup, we do it all.
Sim, eu me sinto como detetive.
Your station would not have assigned you the case otherwise. This case is important.
Certo, devolva a arma a ele.
In the meantime, we should try to interview Evrard Clare, the leader of the union. Harbor property was clearly used in the hanging. The harbor just east of here. Getting in might prove a challenge, though. Or we could ask around for the representative of the logistics company. My initial information says the Wild Pines have sent some sort of strike negotiator to wrangle control back from Evrard.
Negociador de greve.
You could ask the gardener for directions.
Essa é a famosa lista inicial de entrevistas?
Yes. And those were the interviewees. Let's go.
Bom, agora eu vou encerrar esse vídeo por aqui, né? Muito obrigado a quem assistiu, espero que tenham gostado. Se inscreva no canal se não forem inscritos, deixem um curtir. E valeu, falou!